Hello, everyone. Welcome to you all in today's session and to my channel. Hi, my name is Shailesh, and I'm one of the corporate trainer in the industry, and I used to provide the training in the IT technologies. Today, I am going to start you up from the level zero of our training programs and the videos. My motive is making today's youngsters as tomorrow's professional. And our topic for today is introduction to computer. And the introduction is being divided into two parts. And today we will start with part one, that is basic information about computer. So let's get started. Well, topic for the session includes what is a computer, applications, characteristics of computer, evolutions of computer, generations of computer. That means what are the components has been used in different generations. Then classifications of computer, how the computers got classified. Then we have the basic computer organization, in which you can find the input and central processing unit, that is CPU, and output unit. You will find the IPO cycle. We call it that IPO cycle. So let's get started with our today's topics. So, as you can see, the topic is what is a computer. A computer is an electronic machine devised for performing calculations and controlling operations that can be expressed either in logical or numerical terms. Well, you can see the computer, most of the people see it as the electronic machine, and it's true. Computer is an electronic machine. But what exactly is a computer? Computer is nothing but a device which helps you with performing multiple tasks like calculation as well as sending messages and everything, and it helps you to express the data either in a logical or in numerical terms. Here you can see certain pictures, like there is a picture with lots of papers, as well as you can find there's a drawer with the papers where you can see there are lots of paperworks. There is another picture of a postman delivering a letter to the small letter box, and there is another letter box, the big letter box, from where that postman receives the letter. That means sender drops a letter into that big letter box. Postman collect that letter from the box and deliver that letter to the small letter box. And from that small letter box, the receiver receives the letter. Then you can see there is a device of a music system which helps to play the multiple music. It gives you the melodious music played by any of the user. Then there is a video player with a screen through which you see the videos, movies, pictures, whatever you find. There is a VCR placed below the TV, the screen, and you can just go ahead and play the same. And there is another device, looks like a gaming console through which you can play games. There are two cassettes you can place in the console and connect that to your television and play it. There is another device called as typewriter and a calculator. Typewriter used to type the things, and calculator used to do the calculation. See, the thing comes that you can find there are multiple devices, and each individual device has its own work. But when we talk about a computer combines all the works which is being done individual way by individual components or the devices. The single computer perform a task for playing music, playing video, helps to play games, helps in calculation, helps in typing, and as you can see there are lots of paper files. So bulk are there. So same thing you can do it in the computer as well. You can do the typing with the help of the keyboard, the typewriter. It will help the way typewriter used to work, the similar way your computer works for typing, and you can save the files so that you can save papers. Along with that, we have a letter. So with the help of computer, you can send and receive your mails. So all the things get collapsed and collaborated each other and combined and created a device called as a computer. Now that is applications. Now what is application? The applications domain of a computer depends totally on human creativity and imagination. It covers a huge area of applications including education, industries, government medicine, scientific research, law, and even music and arts. Millions of complex calculations can be done in a mere fractions of time. Difficult decisions can be made with unerring accuracy for comparatively little cost. So, as you see, applications, it's nothing but a part of a domain of a computer, basically designed by the any of the designers, the developers, software developers, app designers. They design the application for the computer. Now, there are multiple kinds of applications you can see. There are certain application which is relates to the education. There are certain applications relates to the industrial based. There are certain application based for government medicines. Like if you want, if you need an medicine in an urgent basis. So with the help of the medicine app, you can go ahead and order the medicine online, and with the help of the healthcare application, you can find the different medical stores near to your location, uh, or in particular distance. So it depends. So likewise, you can use the application for music. You can use application for arts as well as for certain e-commerce, food delivery. If you want to book any of the vehicle for travel, you can use that. So you can find different applications in front of us which get helpful in creating our day-to-day life easy, day-to-day work easy. Now if we want to opt for any of the educational program, so we can use the educational app and we can go ahead with that. If we want to opt for any of the hospital, or if we want to know that which hospital is nearby to me to meet up with the doctor for the specialized one, so with the help of the healthcare industry applications, you can easily find it. So likewise, there are multiple applications available for the multiple works which you can make it done in your own computer device. I hope you are finding the particular information informative. If you are finding this information informative, then please go ahead and hit a like button. Do share this video with your friends and subscribe to the channel. Now let's move ahead with the further things. The next thing is Characteristics of computer. Now, what exactly is characteristics? Characteristics is nothing but the performance. How your computer is performed. That means it's a character of your computer. How? Like the speed, what speed you are getting for performing your computer task. What is the accuracy of your task, as well as you can find the storage, automation, versatility, reliability, how reliable it is, sharing, that means how you can share the data from one source to the another destination, how you can do the multitasking, how you can provide the security, how delegate is the task for computer. It shows each and everything. So let's discuss few of the informations relates to the each and every characteristics of computer. Now, when we talk about speed, computer process data at an extremely fast rate, millions of instructions per second in few seconds. A computer can perform a huge task that a normal human being may take days or even years to complete. The speed of a computer is calculated in megahertz. Now, when we talk about a speed, uh, basically, let me give you one example. If suppose you want to write a letter, so in that particular concern, what you can do, you have to use a paper and a pen. Now, you have written a letter, and you find that few of the words are not at all suitable in that letter. Then what you will do? Either you will remove that word from the letter by marking a line through your pen, or else you can just dispose that paper and use a fresh paper and go ahead and write a new letter. But when we talk about a computer, if the similar situation occurs, you can easily delete that word from the letter and you can replace the word over there. And in that particular concern, speed also matters. That if you want to write a letter, you can use your pen. So it might take a few minutes. For example, if you take 10 to 15 minutes. Okay. But when we are going to use the computer, if you have a good typing speed, if you have a good speed in your finger, you can go ahead and type the similar letter within 2 to 3 minutes. And let me tell you one thing, that whenever the computer works, its speed is always calculated in megahertz. And due to the speed of the computer, it always already reduces the huge task which humans takes a long to complete. Due to the speed of the computer, it get completed within few minutes of the time. Now, when we talk about accuracy, besides efficiency, computers are accurate as well. The level of accuracy depends as an instructions and the type of machines being used. Now, when we talk about the accuracy, how accurate is the computer? So, let me give you an example. If you want to calculate something, okay, so with the help of the calculator in your computer, you can simply go ahead and put the numbers, initiate the values, and get your answers. But when we do that same thing manually, it might take some time, because what we have to do, we have to go ahead and write each and every numbers, and over there we have to count number by number to get the result and solution accordingly. And there might be possibility, because if you have huge numbers to make it calculated, accuracy might get problematic. You are not able to find the accurate calculation in that particular. But when we use the computer, the calculation method used in the calculator of a computer, you will find the accurate calculation based upon the numbers initiated for calculation. Like for example, if you enter the multiple numbers with the specified calculative digits, you will get the accurate answer to the numbers you have feed. Now, when we talk about diligence, now computer being a machine does not suffer from a human traits of tiredness and lack of concentration. This is one of the best points. How diligent is your computer? Like as a human, if we sit and work for at least for 3 to 4 hours continuously, your body may feel tired and you need a small break in between, but computer do not feel tired. The computer do not needs any break, and due to your tiredness you might feel a lack of concentration, but computer does not get any lack of concentration. So it depends that how you are finding your computer, your device supportively, because whatever work a human used to do manually, the machine, the computer makes it done with the help of human only. Because if the thing comes, if I say about the typing, we are having a concept of two types of typing. If until and unless a user, a human, is not typing any of the word or sentence, then you cannot find that word or sentence get typed in your computer screen. You cannot able to read that until and unless you are not typing it. But but the major thing is that if you type the things, your fingers may find painful after some time. But computer will not find that, because the device which you used for typing is a keyboard, because it has multiple keys. So once you have completed your key completed your typing, your fingers starts sinking. You will find a bit of pain in your fingers, but keyboard does not find that. So this is one of the best part in computer. Even if you can use the voice command, and with the help of the voice commands, you can see the particular text get typed automatically in front of you in the screen. Now, next characteristics is reliability. This is one of the most important part in computer, that how reliable is your computer. So as per the reliability, reliability is a measurement of performance of a computer, which is measured against some predetermined standard for operation without any failure. Reliability is basically measured with the help of the performance. How your computer is performing, how reliable it is, how the work get done smoothly, so that as a human, as a user to the computer, I feel relaxed because there is something with me who helps to reduce the task of mine. It helps to give me reliability. It is more reliable towards my work as giving the performance. See what happens if let's take an example. Like you are going somewhere, and as a human, if you you are not going to give all the efforts in your foot or hand towards the things. Let's take an example. If you are doing cycling, if your cycle pedal is not getting a force through your legs, then it is going to known for the performance, that how you are performing to uh, cycle your pedal your cycle. Because what happens in this particular things, it been initiated in such a way that how your things are performing, how your computer is performing. So reliability is always measured with the performance of the computer. Now, security. Computer security or cyber security protects the system, network, and data from unauthorized access, theft, or damage. Now, this is one of the best characteristics. Security. Always remember, whatever the things you are doing in your computer, your data needs to be secured. It should not be leaked or misused by anyone. So for that, computer gives the protection to your data as well as to your uh, different devices, the components in your computer, through which if someone wants to access your device in a unauthorized manner, will not be able to do so. Next comes as storage capability. Now, this is one of the interesting part. Like as you are going ahead with the multiple things, you are creating data, you are doing everything. Now you have to store that data. So there might be something you have where you can store your data, so that whenever is required you can go ahead and access that data and find the same. So how you can do that? There are multiple way. There are multiple way. Like for example, we have a hard disk, a computer hard disk, which is inbuilt with your computer. Nowadays, there is alternative that is called as SSD. SSD is also a kind of drive which has been used in the computer for storage purpose. Apart from those, you have different options as well. Those are the external options. Like you have the USB flash drive, you have external hard drive, which helps you to store the data externally, so that whenever you want to travel somewhere or go somewhere and you want to keep your data along with you, you can easily store those data in that and move ahead wherever you want to go. Now, when we talk about the versatility, so it can perform multiple tasks simultaneously with great ease. So if you want to perform a multiple task, that means you are versatile in your nature. So what you can do with the computer, you are performing the same. You are doing the multiple tasks simultaneously. You can open any of the document, you can play music, you can just do some drawing and all. Simultaneously you can do each and everything while using your computer. So your computer is versatile in nature. It can perform multiple tasks simultaneously with a great ease. Now let's see one of the example which is here. At one moment, it can be used to draft a letter. Another moment, it can be used to play music. And in between, one can print a document as well, as I said to you just now. All this work is possible by changing the program. We can change the program into a single place, that is your computer. Now, let's go ahead with next characteristics, that is resource sharing. As I said about the data and the devices, the external devices. So we can share those data with anyone if we want to. It depends that how we are sharing it. And with the help of the computer, it get easily manageable for sharing any sort of resources. Like, uh, let me give you one small example. You can use the computer for resource sharing in such a way that you have created a small Word document and you have typed each and everything. For example, you have created your own resume for the things, or you are a school student or college student. You are writing a application letter to your principal or your teachers or your professor. Now, the situation comes that you are not in a position to go ahead and give the application letter to your teacher or your professor or your principal. Now, what you will do? You can draft a letter and send it through the email from your address to your principal as well as your teacher's address. And this can be done at once only. You can send a single letter at a single point of time to the multiple users through their respective email addresses. So you can easily share your data, and sharing of data is also known as the resource sharing. Now, when we talk about automation, now automation is the use of technology to perform tasks with minimal human intervention. It is designed to streamline workflows, eliminate repetitive manual labor, and increase accuracy and productivity. Now, this is one of the interesting characteristics. Automation, when we talk about automation, I hope most of you have seen the factories, the industries. And over there, you can see there are multiple tasks get done with the help of robots. That means consumption of human labor is less and machines are more, through which your functionality get in a smooth manner. Let me give you one small example. You are using your cell phones. The cell phone is implemented or inbuilt with a cell phone board. We can call it as a motherboard. Now, that motherboard has different minute pointers, which is called as the pin as well as there are certain chipsets through which the entire functionality of the cell phone operates automatically based upon the work of the specific resistors as well as the specific components mentioned in the board. Now, the work is extremely minute, which is not at all possible with the help of the human hands. There are multiple things can be done through the human hands. I am not disagreeing with that, but there are multiple things which requires a minute to the minute detailing in the board to give it finishing. So that is only done with the help of machines, the robots, and that robotic machine work is known as your automation. I think you are getting my point. And if you are there with me till this point, then I appreciate if you go ahead and hit a like button, share this video with your friends and families, and do subscribe the channel. Let's proceed further. Now, multitasking. The ability of a computer to operate several programs at the same time. As I said, computer is a multitasker. At a single point of time, you can do multiple things. You can watch videos, you can play music, you can draft a letter, you can draw a painting, or you can draw a portrait. You can do everything. You can do a multiple task as a single point of time. So the computer is a multitasker as well. Now, this is the thing which everyone should know. And basically, this should be known by the youngsters. Those for those the computer is newly introduced. That what is the evolution of a computer? That means how the computer get introduced in the market, how it get started. So, in the beginning, when the task was simply counting or adding, people used either their fingers or pebbles along lines in the sand. In order to simplify the process of counting, people in Asia Minor built a counting device called abacus. This device allowed users to do calculations using a system of sliding beads arranged on a rack. So the evolution got started towards the counting of the numbers. There are multiple ways the people used to do the task of counting or adding. So for that, people used to use their fingers, as most of our kids, the young generations, are using the same because that is the first and foremost level of counting. That how the specific numbers get counted. So the people used to do the same in the earlier stage, as well as they are using the pebbles. The pebbles they have, they used to do the counting with the help of their pebbles along lines in the sand, and some of them used to draw the lines in the sand and do their calculation. So this task gives the huge time. It takes huge time to come out with any sort of resolution. So, in order to simplify this counting process, people in Asia Minor built a counting device. That counting device they gave a name as abacus. And what abacus used to do, this device allows the user to do the calculation using the bits, the sliding bits. That means you can find there are multiple bits aligned in the particular wood, and they make the sliders and count accordingly and find their results. It that bits are arranged on a rack. Then, when the time passed, with the passage of the time, many computing devices such as Napier bones and slide rules were invented. So after abacus, the new computing device got introduced in the market, that is called as Napier bones as well as slide rules. Now, in the year 1642, a French mathematician, Blaise Pascal, invented the first functional automatic calculator. Now, what happened? After these devices, the French mathematician Blaise Pascal found that the calculation which is being taken care by the bits and Napier bones and slide rules are getting difficult for people. So in the year, what Blaise Pascal has done, as he's a French mathematician, he invented the first functional automatic calculator, which helps to calculate the huge numbers in very short period of time. And how it's been designed? This brass, it has been designed in a brass rectangular box, and that brass rectangular box is also known as the Pascaline. The name Pascaline has been introduced from the name of Blaise Pascal. It used 8 movable diodes to add some 8 figures long. It used to use the 8 movable diodes to make the calculations. Now, the time come in the year of 1694. We found one German mathematician. His name is Gottfried Wilhelm von Leibniz. Extended Pascal's design to perform multiplication, division, and to find square root. This machine is known as Steppered Reckoner. Now, we've got a French mathematician Blaise Pascal in 1642. Now in 1694, we got another mathematician. He is a German mathematician named as Gottfried Wilhelm von Leibniz. He extended the Pascal's design to perform multiplication, division, and to find square root. What basically the Pascaline used to do? It used to do the calculation. It used to do the additions. But this mathematician, the German mathematician Gottfried Wilhelm, what he has done, he has made a change. He extended the Pascal's device. The Blaise Pascal designed the Pascaline, so it get extended for performing different tasks like multiplication, division, and it also helped to find the square root. And after this invention, they gave this machine as a name as Steppered Reckoner. Now, after that, the real beginnings of computers as we know them today, however, lay with the English mathematics professor Charles Babbage. Now, We have seen a French mathematician, we have seen a German mathematician. Now we got one English mathematician. He is the English mathematics professor. His name is Charles Babbage. He is also known as the father of computer. In 1822, he proposed a machine to perform differential equation. Now, we have seen the Pascaline, the device introduced by Pascal, used to do only addition. After that, we got another device by Guilford, and he has introduced that device. He has just extended the Pascal device for multiplication, division, as well as finding the square root. Now, after that, a new device, a new machine got introduced in the market. That machine is used to perform the differential equations. And while doing the differential equation, it's been named as difference engine. Why? Because it used to do the differential equations, and it has been introduced to the market by the English mathematics professor Charles Babbage. After that, in 1889, Herman Hollerith, who worked for us Census Bureau, who worked for US Census Bureau, also applied the Jacquard loom concept to computing. Hollerith's method used cards to store data, which he fed into a machine that compiled the results mechanically. Now, it's one of the beautiful evolution which has been introduced in the year 1889. Earlier, what you used to do, the particular things get done like doing addition, doing division, doing multiplication, finding up the square roots, as well as doing the differential equations. But whatever the result comes, we are not able to save those results. So, in 1889, we got one of the inventor named as Herman Hollerith, who has worked for US Census Bureau, and he applied a concept to computing named as Jacquard loom. It's a Jacquard loom concept to computing, and that method is also known as the Hollerith method. So Hollerith method used cards to store data. In Hollerith's method, they used to use the cards. There are different cards. That card is known as the storage cards, and that is specifically used for storing data, which he fed into a machine that compiled the results mechanically. After that, Mark the First, which was built as a partnership between Harvard Icahn and IBM in 1944. Now, there is a different calculating machine got introduced in the market named as Mark the First, and it has been designed. It was built by the partnership of one of the inventor Harvard Icahn and the IBM Corporation in the year 1944. This electronic calculating machine used relays and electromagnetic components to replace mechanical components. Now, when this calculating machine, this machine got introduced in the market. This calculating machine is an electronic calculating machine. Why? Because it used the relays for the calculation, and the components which has been used in this are the electromagnetic components which replace the mechanical components. The earlier computing, the calculating devices used to use the mechanical components. Now, in Mark the First, we find the electromagnetic components. After that, in 1946, John Ackelsert and John Mushi of developed ENIAC, that is electronic numerical integrator and calculator. This computer used electronic vacuum tubes to make internal parts of the computer. Now the time come for 1946. In 1946, there are two inventors, two developers. One is John Ackelsert and another is John Mushi, who developed a device called as ENIAC. What exactly is ENIAC? It stands for Electronic Numerical Integrator and Calculator. And this is what ENIAC is, a kind of a computer which is used with electronic vacuum tubes to make the internal parts of the computer. N- After that, uh, Eckert and Mushi also proposed the development of EDVAC. They have introduced ENIAC. Now they have developed EDVAC after a certain point of the time, which stands for Electronic Discrete Variable Automatic Computer. It was the first electronic computer to use the stored program concept introduced by John von Neumann. So, EDVAC is known as the first electronic computer. Why? Because this works as things which is used to store the programs. Whatever the things you are doing, it helps to store it. And the program concept, this particular stored program concept, has been introduced by the developer named as John von Neumann. Now, the time comes for 1949. What happens in 1949? So, in 1949, at the Cambridge University, Maurice Wilkes developed EDISAC. This is one more new development, or one more new device got developed by a different inventor known as Maurice Wilkes. Uh, it stands for Electronic Delay Storage Automatic Calculator. This machine is used mercury delay lines for memory and vacuum tubes for logic. For delay lines, they have used mercury in this machine, and for memory and vacuum tubes, basically for the delay lines for memory, they have used the mercury in this machine, and vacuum tubes they have used for logic. Now, Eckert Music Corporation manufactured one more one more device named as UNIVAC in the year 1951, and UNIVAC stands for Universal Automatic Computer. and its implementation marked the real beginning of computer era. So, with the UNIVAC, we find the era of computer gets started in the year 1951. Now, as we have seen the evolutions of computer, now we see the generations of computer. Now, when we talk about generations of computer, why the computer has been introduced with the generations? So the thing is that computer has been the generation of computers has been distributed into five generation, and each generation has its own value because there are specialized components got introduced during those eras. When we talk about the first generation, during the first generation of computer, vacuum tubes got introduced. After that, the second generation of computers uh, uh, got introduced in the market, and in that, transistors has been used. Now, vacuum tubes has gone, that get replaced with the transistors. Now, after transistors, the third generation of computers comes to the picture in the market, and integrated circuits took place in place of transistors. Integrated circuit get replaced from transistor. It replaced to the transistor. After that, the fourth generation of computer came to the picture with the microprocessors. The microprocessor, it replaced to the integrated circuit. That means I'm not telling you that it's got lapsed from the market. They are available, but the functionality based upon those generation has been taken place due to these components. And last but not the least, the fifth generation, that is today's generation. And today's generation is the generation of artificial intelligence. It's a concept of the different technologies. Now, let's let's go ahead and deep dive into each generation with few points. So, let's get started in this. The first generation. The first generation of computer, it gets started from 1940 until the era of 1956. And during that time, the vacuum tube got introduced. So, first generation of computer were vacuum tubes or harmonic value based machines. These computers used vacuum tubes for circuitry and magnetic drums for memory. A magnetic drum is a metal cylinder coated with magnetic iron oxide material on which data and program can be stored. So, during the first generation of computer where vacuum tube got introduced, vacuum tube is also known as the thermionic uh, device. And the thermionic device used to give the value, it's a value based machine. It basically the kind of computer which has been used with the vacuum tubes for circuitry and magnetic drums for memory. That means vacuum tubes which has been introduced in the first generation, it's introduced for the circuit. For why circuit? Because with the help of the circuit, each and every components get interacted with each other. Apart from the memory, for memory, they have a different concept called as magnetic drums. Now, what is magnetic drums in this? So magnetic drum is nothing but a metal cylinder coated of magnetic iron oxide material on which data and programs can be stored. Now, you have seen this. Now, how the input get done in the first generation of computer? So, during first generation of computer, input was based on punched cards and paper tape, and output was in the form of printouts. So what they used to do, they used to use the punch cards and the paper tape, and to get the output, they get the output in the form of printout. For example, ENIAC, EDVAC, and UNIVAC. So these are the types of computers which has been designed during the first generation of computers. These three are the first generation of computers. If we see the characteristics of first generation of computers, then these computers was based on vacuum tube technology. These were the fastest computing devices of their time. These computers were very large and required a lot of space for installation. These were non-portable and very slow equipments. But it's good during that particular time because that is the new era of your computer. After that, in second generation, which has started in the year 1956 and ends in 1963, during that time, transistors are introduced. Let me tell you, the transistor is made up of semiconductor materials like germanium and silicon. It usually had three LEDs and performed electrical functions such as voltage, current, or power amplification with low power requirement. Since transistor is a small device, the physical size of computers was greatly reduced. Now, computers become smaller. Earlier, you have seen it was very big during the first generation of computer. It was truly big. It used to consume more space. Now, when the second generation gets started, the computer became smaller. It became faster than the first generation of computer. It became cheaper than the first generation of computer. It became energy efficient than the first generation of computer, and more reliable than their predecessors. The predecessors means the previous one. As we are talking about the second generation, so predecessor to the second generation is the first generation of computers. Now, magnetic cores were used as primary memory and magnetic disks as secondary storage device. When the second generation gets started and transistors got introduced, during that time the magnetic cores were used as the primary memory. It used to work as a primary memory, and the magnetic disk helps as a secondary storage device. However, they still relied on punch cards for input and printouts for output. See, that concept remains the same. The concept of the punch cards as well as the printouts, because they have not made any such huge change, but the concept of punch cards and the printouts remain the same in the second generation. And the particular devices which has been introduced during the second generation are PDP-8, IBM 1401, and IBM 7090. These are the certain examples of second generation. Now, if we see the characteristics of second generation of computer, so these machines were based on transistor technology. So whatever the things are there, the machines which has been used in the generation, this generation are based upon the transistors technology, and these were smaller as compared to the first generation of computers, as I said earlier, and these were more portable and generated less amount of heat. Yeah, this is one of the best characteristics, because first generation of computers, it used to produce more and more heat due to its work, and the place where it has been placed, the computer where it has been allotted, due to the vacuum tubes, the heat get produced in a very heavy way. So that the heat get reduced in the second generation of computers. Now, third generation of computers, that is the generation of 1964 to early 1970s. The integrated circuits got introduced in the market. The development of integrated circuit was the trait of the third generation computers. It's also called an IC. An integrated circuit consists of a single chip with many components, such as transistors and resistors fabricated on it. Now, in second generation, we have seen transistors got introduced. Now, in third generation, the specified integrated circuit got launched in the market. But, but this particular integrated circuit is a single chip with many components. This particular chip consists of many components through which transistors and resistors are fabricated on it. Now, integrated circuit replaced several individually wired transistors. Now, the transistor which was introduced in the second generation of computers, what the transistor has been introduced, it's been introduced with the wired technology. So, integrated circuit during the third generation, it replaced the several individually wired transistors. This development made computers smaller in size, reliable and efficient. Now in third generation, after the integrated circuit got launched, the size of the computer also got reduced, and after reduction of the size, it becomes smaller, it becomes reliable, and it get efficient to use. And during the third generation, instead of punched cards and printouts, users interacted with third generation computers through keyboards and monitors. Now, the time came with the keyboard and monitor and interfaced with operating system. Now, as the keyboard and monitors got introduced during the third generation, along with that, they get the interface for the computers with operating system. For example, NCR 395 and B6500 are a few integrated circuits got introduced during that time. The characteristics of third generation computers are: these computers were based on integrated circuit, that is IC technology. They were able to reduce computational time from microseconds to nanoseconds. Extensive use of high level language become possible. That means the third generation computer, when it gets introduced, the task which takes huge number of days, huge number of time, that also get reduced, and slowly and steadily, the time which used to take microseconds to complete, now it took nanoseconds to complete. And due to the third generation, the extensive use of high level language became possible and it becomes easier to access. After that, using fourth generation, this is early 1970 to till date. These are the concept of microprocessors. The technology of this generation was still based on the integrated circuit. Those have been made readily available to use because of the development of the microprocessor. Now, during the fourth generation of computers, microprocessors got introduced, and this is the time of early 1970 till date. Because in the current time also microprocessor is being used, and this is the technology which still based on the integrated circuit which was introduced in the third generation. It was still be available during the fourth generation, and these have been made readily available to use, and because of the development of the microprocessor. Now, during the fourth generation computers led to an era of large scale integration, which is also known as LSI, and very large scale integration, which is also known as the VLSI technology. So, what exactly is LSI and VLSI? So, LSI technology is the technology which allows thousands of transistors to be constructed on one small slice of silicon material, whereas VLSI squeezed hundreds of thousands of components on a single EWP. Now, there's another technology that is called as ultra large scale integration, which is also known as ULSI. This increased that number into millions. The fourth generation computer became more powerful, compact, reliable, and affordable. For example, Apple II, Atari 8800, and Cray 1 are certain microprocessor introduced during fourth generation of computers. Now, as per the characteristics, if we can see, the fourth generation of computers are microprocessor based systems. These computers are very small. GUI and pointing devices enable users to learn to use the computer quickly. Interconnection of computers leads to better communication and resource sharing. Now, during generation, that is the present time in which we are going on right now, and beyond, that means upcoming future. This is the generation of artificial intelligence. Now, the computer would learn from its mistakes and possesses the skill of experts. The starting point for the fifth generation of computers has been set to an early 1990. The expert system it defined as a computer information system that attempts to mimic the thought process and reasoning of experts in specific areas. Three characteristics can be identified with the fifth generation computer. These are mega chips. This is the fifth generation computers will use super large scale integrated chips, which will result in the production of microprocessor having millions of electronic components on a single chip. Next is parallel processing. A computer using parallel processing accesses several instructions at once and works on them at the same time through use of multiple central processing units. And lastly, the artificial intelligence, that is AI. And AI comprises a group of related technologies, expert systems, ES, natural language processing, NLP, speech recognition, vision recognition, and robotics. Now, the computers got classified into different forms. The computer is classified as supercomputers, mainframe computers, mini computers, and microcomputers. So, under mainframe computers, you can see there are two types of terminals. One is called as dumb terminals, one is called as intelligent terminals. And under microcomputers, you can find different computers like desktop PCs, workstations, laptops, network, handheld device. So let's discuss each and every computers one by one. So first we talk about microcomputer. A microcomputer is a small, low-cost digital computer which usually consists of microprocessor, a storage unit, an input channel and an output channel, all of which may be on one chip inserted into R or several PC boards. IBM PC Pentium 100, IBM PC Pentium 200, and Apple Macintosh are some of the examples of microcomputers. Microcomputers include desktop, laptop, and handheld models such as PDAs, that is Personal Digital Assistant. After that, under microcomputers, as we have seen different forms of computers, first is desktop computer. So desktop computer is also known as the PC, is principally intended for stand-alone use by an individual microcomputer, typically consists of a system, unit, and a display monitor, a keyboard, internal hard disk storage, and other peripheral devices. And some of the major personal computer manufacturers are Apple, IBM, Dell, HP, and etc. Then comes as laptop. A laptop is a portable computer that is a user can carry it around. Laptops are small computer enclosing all the basic features for a normal desktop computer. The biggest advantage of this computer is that one can use this computer anywhere and at any time, especially when they are traveling. Now, handheld computers. A handheld, also known as Personal Digital Assistance (PDA), is a computer that can conveniently be used in a pocket and used while the user is holding it. PDAs are essentially small, portable computers and are slightly bigger than the common calculators. Some examples of PDAs are Apple Newton, Cassiopeia, and Franklin eBookman. Then we have mini computers. The mini computer is a small digital computer whose process and storage capacity is lesser than that of a mainframe but more than that of a microcomputer. Its speed of processing data is in between that of a mainframe and a microcomputer. Generally, It is used as desktop device that is often connected to a mainframe in order to perform the auxiliary operations. Now, mini computers are usually multi-user system. So these are used in interactive applications in industry, research organizations, colleges and universities. These are also a high performance workstations with graphics input output capabilities used in mini computers. Some of the widely used mini computers are PDP second, IBM 8000 series and VAX 7500. Then comes a mainframe computer. A mainframe is an ultra high performance computer made for high volume, processor intensive computing. It consists of a high end computer processor with related peripheral devices capable of supporting large volumes of data processing system and extensive data storage and retrieval. Mainframes are the second largest of the computer family, the largest being supercomputers. Mainframe allows its user to maintain large information storage at a centralized location and be able to access and process this data from different computers located at different locations. It is typically used by large businesses and for scientific purpose. Examples of mainframe computers are IBM's E5000, VAX 8000 and CDC 6600. Now, the computer which is being used with the different forms named as supercomputers, and supercomputers are the special purpose machines which are specifically designed to maximize the numbers of flops, that is floating point operation per second. Any computer below 1 gigaflop per second is not considered a supercomputer. A supercomputer has the highest processing speed at a given time for solving scientific and engineering problems. Essentially, it contains a number of CPU that operate in parallel to make it faster. Its processing speed lies in the range of 400 to 10,000 mainframe lots, millions of floating point operation per second, that is MFLOPS. Supercomputers are used to solve multivariant mathematical problems of existent physical processes such as aerodynamics, metrologies, and plasma physics. The largest commercial use of supercomputers is in the entertainment advertising industry. Cray 3, Cyber 205, and Param are some well known supercomputers. Now, I hope you're finding this information informative. If you are finding it informative, please go ahead and hit the like button. Do share the video with your friends and subscribe to the channel. That gives more motivation, and I will make sure you will get different information based upon today's market as well as the requirement. Now let's come to the basic computer organization. So when we talk about a computer, so computer is being utilized with a concept or a cycle called as a IPO cycle. We call it as a input process output cycle. Here you can see a block diagram. This is the block diagram of a computer system having three units, and each functional unit corresponds to their basic operations performed as described in details. One is called as input unit, then we have central processing unit, the CPU, and then we have the output unit. Now, with the help of the input unit, a data got input, the data get enters into the computer. Now, after data get entered, the processing gets started, and this processing is being done by the CPU, which contains three units. First, called as the control unit, which used to control the processing. Second, ALU, that is arithmetic and logic unit. And third one is the memory unit. Once CPU process the data with the help of these three units, then it goes to the secondary unit, which is also known as the auxiliary storage unit or mass storage unit. So from there, it comes back to the processor and say yes, it's ready to get stored. And after that, once it comes to the CPU, then CPU sends that data to the output unit. That output unit can be anything in which the specified data needs to be stored, or else, let me give you one small example. You are typing something. So with the help of your input device, that is your keyboard, you have typed. With the help of the CPU, which is there in your computer, it processes that text, and the notepad application which is there in your computer, it shows the text which has been typed by you. So it works as keyboard gave the input, CPU done the processing, and notepad shows the output. So combination of these three becomes the input process output, that is IPO. And with the help of this that secondary storage unit, it helps that data needs to be stored. That data is okay, and it is authorized to get stored once it's get executed in the output unit. Now, let's talk about input unit. So in input unit, it accepts data and instructions from the outside world. Outside world means the user who is going to use the input device to input the data. Convert it to a form that the computer can understand. So with the help of the input device, like for example, there is a text called as input. So with the help of keyboard, I am typing INPUT, input. So I have given the command with the help of the keyboard. That is the input of the data. Now that data moves ahead and convert it into the form which computer can understand. And basically computer understands only binary language, the language of 0 and 1. Then this supply it supplied the converted data to the computer system for further processing. Once the input unit converts the data in the form of computer which it understands, then it supplies that converted data towards the computer system for further processing. Then the input unit is used to send information or instructions or commands to the computer. The data received from the input unit is immediately stored in main memory and then processed. Following are some of the input devices like keyboard, mouse, light pen, joystick, OCR, which is also known as optical character recognizer, MICR, magnetic ink character recognizer, OMR, optical mark recognizer. Then, from input unit moves to central processing unit. Now, what central processing unit used to do? It performs all calculations and decisions. It controls and coordinates all units of the computer. It interprets instructions of a program and it stores data temporarily and monitors external requests. Now, CPU is subdivided into following subsystem. One is called control unit, one is called arithmetic and logic unit, and one is called as memory unit. And memory unit also subdivided into two types of storage, that is primary storage and secondary storage. Let's discuss on these. So, control unit. The control unit instructs the computer how to carry out program instructions. It directs the flow of data between memory and arithmetic logic unit. The input unit does not know when to receive data and where to put the data in the storage unit after receiving it similarly. The control unit instructs the input unit where to store the data after receiving it from the user. Now, in the same way, it controls the flow of data and instructions from the storage unit to ALU during program execution. The control unit fetches instructions from the primary memory, decodes them to determine the operations required, and then sets up instructions execution. For example, to add two numbers or to read a character from a keyboard, a number registers are associated with the control unit. Arithmetic and logic unit, ALU, what it used to do, it performs all the arithmetic and logical operations. Arithmetic operations like addition, subtraction, multiplication, and logical operations such as comparisons are performed in ALU. All calculations are performed in the arithmetic and logic unit of the computer ALU. Also does comparisons and take decisions. For example, it can check if a number A is less than equal to or greater than the number B. Once the calculation or the logical operation is performed by ALU, then the result is transferred to the storage unit. Then comes as memory unit. Memory is a part of computer which holds data for processing and other information. It is also called as main memory or primary memory. A device that stores program instructions or data used by the CPU when performing a given function. Memory is a device which is used to store information temporarily or permanently. It is the place where the information is safekept. Secondary memory, such as disk storage, is functionality considered I/O because it is accessed through the input-output system. Now, under the memory unit, as we find different storage, so there are two different storage. One is primary storage and another is secondary storage. So, what exactly is primary storage? So, the primary storage is also known as main memory, which stores and access information very fastly. This is generally used to hold the program being currently executed in the computer, the data being received from the input unit, the intermediate and final results of the program. Primary storage is also known as the system memory, internal memory, temporary memory, and RAM, which is known as random access memory. It is installed on the main computer board, that is also known as the motherboard, typically comprised of ICs, that is integrated circuits, and fast access, usually in order to the nanoseconds. Now, in secondary storage, the secondary storage is also known as the auxiliary storage. It may store several programs, documents, databases, etc. The program that we want to run on the computer is first transferred to the primary memory before it can run. Similarly, after running the program, if need to save the results, we will transfer them to the second storage. The secondary memory is slower and cheaper than the primary memory. Some of the commonly used secondary memory devices are floppy diskette, zip diskette, hard disk, and magnetic disks and tapes, etc. Etc. because there are multiple more. Now, when comes to the output unit, the devices used to get the response or result of a process from the computer is called as output unit. Now, output unit is the communication between the user and the computer. The output unit of a computer provider the information and the results of a computation to the outside world. Computers do not work in the decimal system. They work in the binary system. Therefore, if required, the output unit also converts the binary data in the form that users can understand. Commonly used output devices are video, which is known as visual display unit or monitor, then printer, then computer output microfilm, and plotter. Now, I hope you find this video informative. If you find this video informative, then please do like, share, and subscribe to the channel. And if you have any questions, then type the same in the comment box below to get the answer. Thank you and have a nice day.